What's up, guys? We are Tottenham TV here. Spurs have lost 4-2 to Barcelona at Wembley. We're here with James from North Carolina Spurs. What do you reckon of the game?
To some degree about what I expected. I knew that even though they were out of form, we were out of form too, and especially with all the injuries, I didn't expect that much from us. To be fair, I almost thought we got more than we did, which I think says everything about both the class of Harry Kane and just the fight and will of Lamela to get the goals, especially the way that they did. I thought was really impressive, especially when we're just not playing all that well, even with the victories in the past 2 weeks at Brighton and Huddersfield. I think I come away from this match, though, and I compare it especially to the Real Madrid match a year before. And I look at the way that Real played their football and compare it to the way Barcelona played theirs tonight. And I thought that Real last year, even though they were out of form, they were fair, they were honest, they were real with their football and didn't try to do anything out of the ordinary. They just tried to play the very best possible game that they could. And I don't think I can say the same for a few of the Barcelona players tonight. I thought that PK's moment, it was about the 70th with the injury. Yeah. In the nicest terms, I thought it was very disrespectful to the game more than anything else. It's one of those cases where if you are genuinely that injured, the way that he made it seem, then you should be that injured and not be able to jump up the way that he did. I don't think
he didn't have to come off for treatment, which is interesting.
Right, and that's my issue. If you're injured that much, that's fine, but get the treatment that you need. If you're not injured that much, then I don't like suspecting that there's something there that might not necessarily should be, but I come away from that experience and come away from what I saw, and that's largely what I think. That there were a few other fouls in particular. I think Coutinho had a few that jumped out to me that I was just very disappointed in. Even though they won, I lost a lot of respect for this Barcelona team tonight.
Do you not think they were pretty much a few levels above Spurs in terms of quality of play, in terms of just how good they are? In terms of the football they played, do you not feel that a few levels above Spurs?
Oh, no, I don't disagree with that at all. I think they were. And that's why it bothers me so much, because I felt like that they added a lot of these sort of extra, almost excessive reactions to fouls and to tackles on top of the football that they played, which I thought was better than ours. And from my perspective, I think that if you are better than us, you don't really need to add anything more. Just go out and play your football. And if you're better than us, you'll get the 3 points. It's not hard.
Do you not feel like that might be the gamesmanship that all the top teams have, and maybe Spurs are kind of naive from that point?
That's been the question I've been asking myself in the last 30 minutes, whether or not it takes that sort of gritty, maybe not necessarily ethical ruthlessness to be able to become one of the top sides in Europe. I don't know. I think we're all still sort of going on this journey together where we're trying to figure out how to be successful against the top clubs in Europe now that we are starting to get there ourselves. And maybe that's something that we need to add to our game. Maybe that's something that Pochettino needs to discuss and sort of find a way to integrate into this side. I'm not necessarily certain. Of course, if it were my pick, I'd rather we not do that sort of thing. But if that's what we have to do to be successful, I think ultimately I'm not sure if we have another choice besides accepting it.
What do you think changed so much in the second half after, we were kind of dominating that first half? We were kind of out of our depth in a way, I felt, anyway. And in the second half, we kind of stepped up a bit, showed more fight, got back in the game. Unfortunately, we didn't end up winning the game. What do you feel like changed in the second half?
I mean, I hate to say it was more the training room and the dressing room talk, but I felt like in this case, there was a lot of that present because we didn't really see that much of a change, I thought, from the substitutions that came on. It was more just, if anything, Lamela finding his feet and everybody sort of following on behind that. Because I think where we are right now and with the way that we're playing and the form that we're in, he is, by and large, the heartbeat of our side. And everything, at least emotionally and within our passions, is going to sort of flow through him. So I felt like he was able to step his game up another level in that second half. Best exemplified by the goal, but there were many other opportunities where he was just fighting and, just winning the 50-50 balls. And at the end of the day, in a lot of those cases, I thought it was just more heart than anything else. And it seemed like that a lot of the people that were out there on the pitch managed to sort of feed off of that and sort of go with it. And it almost felt like he sort of single-handedly raised the belief, especially when we drew it back to 3-2. I could tell that everybody was starting to feed off of him and a little bit off of Harry as well.
How much credit do you give to this Spurs side, who obviously depleted big time by injuries? Do you see it as a case of they did the best they could under the circumstances, or do you feel like they could have done more?
My only complaint that I have with the side that played tonight was that I felt like the Barcelona, at least two of the Barcelona goals were very easy. One was sort of an empty net, ice hockey style goal, which I can forgive, but Hugo's was very, very bad. And it's frustrating when you look back at everything and you recognize that, especially if Hugo doesn't give up that first one so easily, this is 2-2 at 85 minutes, and we might be looking at a point for this. So I think beyond just the general cleaning up of the mistakes, they actually played decently well tonight, especially with all the injuries. I think it says a lot about the depth of the squad, and that I think we have more than a lot of people give us credit for, that we were able to play largely, at least on par on the score sheet with Barcelona for a solid 8 nights of the match.
But again, as you said, individual mistakes cost us today. You could argue it cost us against Liverpool as well. You could argue it cost us even, I remember the first half, in the second half against Inter Milan, individual mistakes cost us. What is going on at the moment with these mistakes? Because they weren't happening last season.
That is a very, very good question. I know with Liverpool and with Inter, having been at the San Siro and Wembley that weekend, both of those were all set pieces. It was just very, very poor defending on set pieces, and it was especially frustrating after the Inter Milan match because it was very clearly something that I thought we needed to work on in training, especially that Monday, and it didn't really look like it got touched. And from what Pochettino said in the post-match press conference, the implication that I got was that he thought it was just more luck than anything else, which I would buy to some degree. But given that we don't have the greatest history with defending set pieces, I think it's something that we probably should put a little bit more work into. Beyond that, I don't know. Tonight was weird because it wasn't set pieces. We were fine on set pieces, so we didn't really give that many away. It was just more individual errors than anything else in the first and the fourth goal. And it seems like a bit of an anomaly compared to the rest of the mistakes that have happened this season, where you look at Liverpool, you look at Inter, Watford in particular stands out to me very clearly as a match where set pieces were the issue. And I think we still have some work to do on that, but that would be more my focus. I don't think you read too much into the mistakes of this match compared to those.
Last question, how confident are you that we can qualify from this group now? Two defeats out of 2.
It will require beating PSV home and away, and I think taking all 3 from Inter here at Wembley.
I think we have to beat them by 2 goals to really make sure of it.
And it's going to be something where I think you have to make it the goal difference as well, although Inter did not look good in the Netherlands at all tonight. They did manage to get 3 points, but they were not all that great, so it gives me confidence that even with a side like this, when we're out of form, I think if we get back to our old selves, and especially if we've got everybody free from injuries and healthy, we should be very, very capable of beating that here at Wembley at the end of November. And hopefully at that stage, we'll be able to either take the loss at the Camp Nou or find a way to scrounge out a point by parking the bus Jose style. And maybe somehow we sneak out with 10 points. Who knows?
All right, looking forward to it. Cheers for coming on, James.
Thank you so much.
Nice.